Welcome to the Loose and Moose podcast.
I'm Luce.
And I'm Moose.
Two unlikely best friends that I guess love the sound of their own voice, so decided to hit record. Cheers.
Cheers.
This feels so weird.
Instead of the, it has a nice clink to it though.
Yeah.
Let's go again. AM
What
podcast.
are you drinking?
I'm drinking a coffee.
Yeah, but like, obviously, no, I'm drinking a frothy Lucy at 9 in the morning.
Here's me, AM podcast, but I'm smashing beers in here.
I mean, well, no, it's a public holiday.
I've just got a warm coffee, a normal coffee. Just a flat white
Flat white.
with goat milk.
Actual?
No.
So everyone knows I call Moose the goat, and then he would, you know, it became like a trend a couple of years ago for everyone to start having oat milk.
Yep.
So he would call it goat milk. And have you ever actually said it at the cafe?
Yeah, remember when COVID was happening and we were having the masks? It was awesome because I used to do it as a joke because it sounded probably like oat,
And
but
then
I was always saying goat milk.
If they think you said goat, you'd be like, you're crazy.
Yeah, but
Just
do you have
gaslight them.
it?
But now for real, are you having oat milk?
No, just full cream.
Full cream.
I know.
That's wild.
Yeah. Drink big, get big.
I'm doing a weird thing today. I got these new cups. So I'm a Yeti stan. Like, we know that. I bought you that Yeti. I introduced you to Yeti. I introduced Lauren to Yeti. You guys are a Yeti family because of me, right?
We are now.
I can take credit for that.
Yep. Yep.
But I just love Yeti. And I was having these like meal replacement shakes for breakfast when like too busy to actually have breakfast when you're working at 7 a.m, and they were too thick for my cups because it was like I couldn't fit enough liquid in there. So I bought these like big cups for like specifically for the shakes, but then they're also really good for like a big iced coffee.
Yeah.
So I had iced coffee this morning, actually with skim milk. Normally I have almond milk, but we were out. Like I'm saying that like I live with anyone. I was out and I had randomly brought.
Replaced it.
Huh?
Your housemate hasn't replaced it.
Yeah,
What are they doing then?
blame them. But yeah, I randomly brought like skim milk because I felt like cereal and I can't have cereal with almond milk. So that's what I'm having.
Nice. You sounded like one of my kids then. Like with their smoothies, made them the other day, and Jax has said it's too thick. So now Levi, every time I give him one, it's too thick, even if it's normal. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes. So
That's a bit cute.
no more smoothies.
But you know that feeling when like it's like chunky?
Yeah.
Because like with the shakes, I just have like one of those like handheld whisk things.
Yep.
I don't put it in a blender because it's just a shake. And yeah, so I think this is going to be a game changer. Because before that, I was just, when I start work at 7, I was just not eating breakfast because I didn't have time.
Yeah.
So then I got the shakes, but then they were gross.
Because you haven't been eating. Yeah.
But anyway, Yeti, if you would like to sponsor us, we are big Yeti stans.
How many, so you're saying that on purpose?
What?
Stands. Is this a new thing? I didn't pull you up before because I'm like, we'll start this podcast nice to each other.
I didn't even.
But it's a thing. It's a trend, isn't it?
I could. Have you not heard Stan?
Nah, what is it?
Are you kidding me?
No.
It's just like it's been the thing you say for ages about. It's like internet talk where instead of being a fan, you're a stan. I don't actually know what it stands for or what it means, but it's just like a ultimate fan.
Okay.
You're a stan.
I thought you were just sort of doing a bit of a play at Stanley Cup since we're moving back to the goats, which are Yeti. So how many colourways have you got in that so far?
Huh?
How many colourways have you got in that size cup?
Guess.
2.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Something in my brain, like I'm going to order 1 cup. I can't just have 1 colour. I've got to order 2 instead of ordering 1. It's so
I
bad.
just hope Lauren doesn't hear this podcast because, like, you know, ours, like her, like Scotch ones, she's got like every colourway in the world.
Imagine having a Scotch in this. It's huge.
Fuck. You know that she will. Challenge. We'll get home tonight to watch the Tech Day game. She's already sitting there with the Collingwood one.
Oh, man.
My thing of the week is actually related to beverages, so I might skip the queue here and go first if you don't mind.
Go on.
So we had a cool little catch up with some work peeps recently, and just randomly they were just having a drink, and I got asked like, do you remember your first ever alcoholic drink? So I was intrigued to know if you remember what was the first thing that you had, not like just, you know, sipping dad's beer or whatever when you were a kid, like the first actual drink you would have had and drank the whole thing.
Yeah, I think I have 2 things that pop into my brain. My first thought was, I remember Mum letting me have a vodka cruiser because we won the netball grand final. And I was like...
Under 11s?
No, how old would I have been? Maybe 14 or
Okay.
something. I don't know.
That's a cool mum.
Yeah, she like we were under her supervision. It was me and my best friend at the time, and like her and her mum, my mum and her mum were there, so it was like fine. But then I'm like that was my first thought, but my second thought was I do have a distinct memory of a family dinner, and me and my like family friend were like we want to have some wine because everyone was having wine, and we were like kids, and I think our parents let us have a glass of wine, and we were like drinking it like yum. And like obviously thought it was disgusting, but just kept drinking it because like I don't know, we were being rebellious.
Yeah, and your parents have actually like agreed to something that you've asked. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and
I can't not drink it now.
Yeah, and I think it was also like a test from the parents, like they won't drink
they'll
this,
fucking
but we
hate
were
it.
like, fuck you, yes we will.
I love red wine.
Yeah, yum.
You're gonna think older, Dad? Like no. Wow.
What about you? What do you remember?
Yeah, so I remember it was actually over your way. So we're at a wedding in Port Lincoln, and it was one of those ones where I would have been like probably similar age to what you were saying, so like 13 or something like that. But the kids weren't invited to the wedding, and being like country town, everyone's like whatever. So I think I was looking after some of the other kids, and so they were like, "Oh, there's 2 lemon ruskies in the fridge," and I got to have the lemon ruskies, and also like I think they're less alcohol than some of those other vodka things as well.
Probably.
But I was just like feeling like the biggest baller. I'm like, looking after the house, smashing a couple of ruskies.
Telling the kids off, like telling them to keep it down.
Keep it down. I'm trying to fucking watch the footy and drink beers here. Anyway, that was mine. But it was just such a random question.
Yeah.
And then obviously that opened up. Everything is just funny now getting older where, I want my wines or maybe some beers, and like they're just walking around, still holding sugary things. I'm like, all right, times have changed.
What about like when you were 16, 17, maybe even 15? Did you go to like house parties in Mount Gambier, and then did your parents let you take drinks? Because it would always be a thing with like mum would be like, you can take 2, and then obviously you'd all try and sneak more, and then it's actually so bad, like you'd have your group of friends and you'd all tell each other's parents like, yeah, mum said I can have 4, and then like you'd all bring more and just trick everyone into taking more drinks, but like it was so dumb.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they'd buy a 6 or whatever, and they'd just give you a few of them. Like UDLs come to mind.
Yeah,
they were huge. Red Bears.
I remember Red Bears. Yeah. Were they your drinks of choice?
Definitely Red Bears was, and then moved into, we spoke about it on last week's episode with my dad calling up sick for me, but then like moved into like your Woodstocks and Highlanders.
Ew.
Yeah.
They're like woody, right? Like
the Woodies, yeah.
Like woody tasting drinks. I remember, I still don't like the taste of any like scotch or anything really, because it tastes woody to me. But like, I was always having the sugary stuff. Like I was always vodka cruisers or the Red Bears and the UDLs, and there's another one that's like right in my brain right now, but I can't think of the name. Pulse?
Oh fuck. Okay, because that was mixed with the energy drink, right? Yeah.
That must have been so bad for you, but like,
yeah,
I don't know. I was a kid. I didn't know any better.
100%. I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but it's fucked. A mate of mine from the Mount, and like when we'd go to house parties, most of them were his house because he had like the coolest house. He had like a pool, and like they were quite well off. But anyway, he would bring a sippy cup to it, and he would literally go around like, so if we're in a party now, we're talking or whatever, and we would just like give him the little dregs of everyone's drink, and he would literally just drink that.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah, but it's fucked though. Like imagine that. Like it's like, all right, here's some beer, here's some Pulse, here's some whatever. And this is obviously later in the night when he was absolutely cooked, but I just still remember that, like, it'd just be a running joke of like, here comes fucking sippy cup. Just be sitting there like literally just drinking everyone's shit mixed together. Yeah.
I have all these memories are flooding back to me now about house parties. Like mine in Whyalla were always like out in a not a great area of Whyalla, and like I don't know whose houses they really were, and I probably shouldn't have been there. But then I always remember like every house party you ever went to would be like, everyone would be like, the cops are here. So you'd have to put your drink on the ground because you were underage and you couldn't be caught drinking. Yeah. Is that a thing?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's so bad. Like there's all those memes where it's like my mum thinks I'm at a sleepover and I'm like in the middle of a grassy field like dying of alcohol poisoning. Like legit. Why did we do that?
How good though. Great times.
What a great way to grow up.
Be safe out there, kids. But
well, I guess city kids wouldn't have had that as much. Like
because we don't trust them to go anywhere.
Yeah, like you'd have to be stricter living in the city. Surely, I don't know.
I guess I'll find out in a couple of years.
Yeah. No, it has to be way more strict now, right?
Yeah.
Like
They're not having it at 13.
Well, or they all have phones, so you know where they are anyway, so they can't lie.
True. Anyway, that was mine. It was just a random question that I got asked. That'll be cool just to see if we were aligned with that, which it sounds like we were.
Yeah, similar. So you never had a glass of wine as a 10-year-old or
No, like the shit that I remember that I didn't like back then was just like, you're sitting around with your parents, whatever. I'm like, you have a beer then. And like you'd crack it thinking it'd be awesome. And then I'm like, what the fuck have I just done? How does dad drink these vitamin Bs?
Actually, oh my God, I just had another random memory. This is cooked. Surely someone else did this, but I remember like when I was like a young kid, like 5, 6, 7, 8, like you'd have friends over and dad would have his stack of beer bottles like that would be going to recycling and we'd be like, oh, I wonder if there's any left and try and get little drops out of them. And I remember the taste of that, like the taste of one tiny drop of beer from a week-old bottle.
Fuck, all warm and like...
Yeah. That's why I've got such a great immunity now, I guess, given the immune system.
Well, you've been in mine when like the kids have randomly like grabbed that. Like Levi will just like sip the Yeti and
it's
like,
so funny.
What? And he thinks it's hilarious.
And then we were all like freaking out, like, no. And he's like, yummy.
You guys pouring another one?
Yeah.
Ella does that with my coffees. And
Really?
she thinks that like she says that she likes it.
Really?
Yeah. Because I remember like even that, like I only started drinking coffee a few years ago, but she genuinely like will have a sip and just like play on.
How old is Ella again? 11.
9.
No, 9. How old were you when you started drinking coffee?
20.
Oh, that's right.
8 or something.
Yeah. Because I think I remember having it when I was like 12 and 13 maybe.
Okay, so maybe it's a little bit more normal, but I guess my parents didn't, drink a lot of coffee. Like,
yeah.
Can't even remember them drinking coffee when I was a kid.
I remember my parents having a coffee machine and that being a big deal when they got their first coffee machine, and there was always instant coffee.
That's a good point. Like, I'm saying that she's having it now being young, but then I brag to everyone at work because I'm like, oh, my 9-year-old makes my coffees. Of course she's going to drink them if she's fucking making them. Anyway, play on. That's the silliest thing.
She's like tasting the coffee she's made to be like, this is a good one. Well done, Ella.
Dad, I don't like these beans. We like this one better. Anyway, what's your thing of the week?
I've got a test for you.
Okay.
I've been excited for this.
Yeah. Well.
It's embarrassing, but I got to do it for the plot. Just like, I'm going to say something and you tell me what it makes you think if it means anything to you. And try and finish the sentence maybe. I don't know.
Fuck.
Dream guest on my podcast?
I can't finish the sentence because I have no idea what it is, but it sounds like something like one of the gaming ones that my kids listen to or something.
Dream guest on my podcast?
Who is it? Awesome, you're staying in character.
Let's do something crazy. One of my exes.
I have no fucking idea.
So do you know who Jojo Siwa is?
No.
So I have to explain to you the whole lore?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a TV show called Dance Mums. And then it's all apparently, I've not really ever watched it, but apparently it's all about the mums in this like dance.
I think we've seen some of that.
You know what the show is,
Yeah.
yeah? And then, so the girl, surely you know that girl that was in the Sia music videos and those really cool dances. What's her name again? Can't think of her name. You'd know her if you saw her. So there's these famous kids that were on this show. So the show wasn't super about the kids, but they obviously became famous.
Yep.
And Jojo Siwa, the thing that she did was like become like a real...
She's the kid or the mum?
She's the kid.
Yeah.
She became like a kids pop star, like kids bop. Like all her albums and video like clips and stuff were like very kid.
Yeah.
Like she'd have this like crazy side ponytail and like wear like full glittery pink outfits and very like the American like High Five or Wiggles or whatever, but like just it was just her. And so much merch, like everything you could think of is Jojo Siwa branded. And so it's a bit hard to explain if you like don't get the lore, but like just picture, you've got an image in your head, right?
Yep.
So then she's like such a meme at the moment because she's obviously trying to rebrand herself as an adult. And like she started coming out with all this like kiss makeup, like black makeup, and then like doing all these like dark outfits and stuff, and put out a dark song, which is not really that dark at all. It's just like she says bitch in it, like it's not even a big deal. But then there's this clip of her and they're interviewing her like, so who would your dream guest for your podcast be? And that's how she talks for some reason. Like she's just so obnoxious, and she can't just be like, oh, dream guest of my podcast. Like she's like, dream guest of my podcast? Everyone is imitating her, and it's so funny. After this, I'll have to show you like the clip of her and then all the people imitating her, and then she literally does this like, oh, let's be crazy, one of my exes, and then runs away, and it's so.
How old is she now?
Oh, she's like 18 or something now. Like she's an adult, but she's just so cringe. Like, and the other thing is she was from the TV show Dance Moms. So she grew up dancing like her whole childhood. Is a professional-ish dancer. No, she's a professional dancer because she would do it with Jojo Siwa stuff. But then this choreography for this the single that she's just put out, like all her dances look really cool. She just looks cooked. No one knows what the fuck she's doing. She's putting like too much into it and looks crazy, and everyone is she's just such a meme right now, and I just knew that you wouldn't know the meme at all. So I had to educate you, but then it's not as funny if you don't get the lore.
Yeah, and it's like the way you explain it, I'm like, I don't even want to fucking see her either.
I know. You don't want to see her, Jojo. Like,
we'll find it. It'll be up here. I'll know about it and I'll be laughing shortly.
It's funny.
Yeah.
The other thing that makes it cringe about JoJo is like, I don't know, apparently some interview she said she didn't know who Kiss were. Oh, and like she's literally wearing Kiss makeup, and then she said I'm going to do something no one's ever done before. I'm going to create a new genre. And they're like, oh, really? What's it going to be called? And she's like, gay pop. And then like all these artists are like that make gay pop are like, yeah. She's just so cringe, and you see the more you see, the more you're like, oh, far out. What's she doing now?
That's fucked.
Anyway, now you'll hear people say that now. It's like a thing people are just saying. Dream guest on my podcast. Like it's just funny.
It's probably going to be the title of this episode. So, and I'm already thinking how we can just overlay some of that makeup on us just for a split second to go on and on. I do it in paint, so it's heaps fucked.
And then, then there's some kind of roast to be had about like me being like, let's spice things up, one of my exes, and you be like, you don't have any.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, have you noticed my t-shirt?
I hadn't till just then, but it's a nice one.
I got this was sold out at the tour, the black version of the Eras tour t-shirt, and then they released it online. It was so exciting.
Haven't you already wore that on one of these?
No, I wore the cream color one.
I'm just fucking with you because I know how you'd be disgusted at me asking you if you're wearing the same t-shirt again.
I would never out for repeat. No, I'm going to have to. I'm running out of clothes. But no, I got the black one. It's so exciting. So I think this is episode 19 and I've worn a Taylor Swift t-shirt for 3 of the episodes. I know it's a bit embarrassing, but whatever. But yeah, so this is probably one of the only times we're going to be able to do this because we're not really filming ahead. So it's Thursday. It's Anzac Day. Last Friday just gone, we had a very exciting release at 1:30 p.m. Adelaide time. Were you lining up to get your copy?
Yes, I was.
I made a stupid mistake of not booking that day off work. I had to be there at work when everyone else was at home listening, and I couldn't listen. And then I had a friend's birthday thing right after work, so I couldn't even listen properly. It's like it hasn't even been a week, so it's fine. I can give myself some time, but I don't even feel like I've been able to absorb the album yet. It's so much. 31 songs? So much. Over 2 hours. Thoughts?
I got thoughts about double album, so I don't know if we go into that now or after, but I'm kind of scared of double albums.
Because it's just so much to listen to, or?
Yeah. And like, I was doing a little bit of research when we were talking about this for prep. Is there ever been a good double album? I went to the top 10 double albums of all time, and I'm like, I just think it's too much to release at once for mine.
I do think, like I said, I haven't been able to absorb the album. Like, the more I listen to it, the more it's growing on me. But I think if it wasn't a double album, I would have loved it already. Because when you do listen to the songs and actually take a minute, it's like, no, this is actually really good. But like I haven't had the time to do that for the whole album because there's just so much.
And especially, I guess, like you look at the album title and the themes behind it, it's supposed to be like this masterpiece of, you know, poetry and lyrical genius stuff. I'm like, how do you then have 31 versions of that to digest?
Yeah.
Like, I think it might be one of those ones in years later, you're like, oh, fuck, how good we had all those songs. But now it just seems a lot. I wrote to you and you probably hated it, but I just feel like when I was skipping through on my drive home on the first album on that Friday, I'm like, it all just sounds so samey for me. Like, if it's 31 versions of that, I'm like, it's just going to be too much.
I think potentially that was my first impression, but the more I listen to it, the more I'm finding. But yeah, I do think it's going to take me a while because there's just so much. So like I fully get that. I do think you need to give it more time though, because it's already grown on me a lot.
I haven't even really, I had another go yesterday and it definitely was a little bit, but then it's like, it's one of those ones you have to be in the right mood for that.
Yeah.
Like this week it's been like up and about, and if I'm like going for exercise or I'm going to party, whatever, I'm not gonna. It's not an album I'm gonna put on to pump me up. It's like, all right, cool. If I want to go cry in my room with some poetry, then that's what I'll do for the next 2 hours.
Actually, that reminds me. Our friend Jace, he said I was saying like, oh, Taylor Swift's out tomorrow, and he's like, oh fuck, all right, I better go break up with my wife. Like apparently she says, all right, break up with me the day before, so I've got something to cry about.
I like even me then I feel bad like saying, oh, double albums suck and something like that. Like imagine like, and this has been going around where everyone's like giving her shit about doing that, but then it's like, well, at least an artist is releasing so much stuff.
Yeah.
You know, why they're on the biggest tour in the entire universe or whatever, and it's still coming out. But yeah, I don't know.
I do think, I have no idea. I'm not obviously an expert, but I do think she maybe made a mistake with releasing it as a double album. I think it should have been like 2 sister albums like Folklore and Evermore. And then I think we would have been able to absorb them better. Yeah. I think she's, there's also a method to how she's releasing things in terms of the re-records. Like I think she's doing like a re-record and then an album and then a re-record, then an album, or maybe 2 re-records and an album. And I think there's a lot of theories that Tortured Poets Department is like the precursor for Reputation.
Yeah. Oh, she's in like the sweetest spot an artist could ever be in. And like everyone's saying that she should have a break and do blah, blah, blah. You're the biggest artist in the entire universe at the moment. Isn't it the smartest thing just to keep saturating everyone with heaps of stuff? Because everyone's going to buy, even if it's the biggest pile of shit album of all time, it would still be probably the best selling one of the next couple of years because she's so hot at the moment. Yeah.
And also like, she's literally a billionaire. I think she knows that she doesn't have to do all this, but like, I think she genuinely loves doing it. So like, if I could do what I loved and get paid heaps of money for it, why wouldn't I? Yeah. And also, I think she also loves the side of it where people, I think she loves like feeling hurt and like all these girls. I don't know. To me, it feels like she likes all this like clowning we're doing and the connection and all that. Yeah. Which like I would be the same. Like how good that you're helping millions of people articulate feelings they never knew how to articulate. Yeah. Like some of the lyrics, you're like, yes, I felt that way. I didn't know how to explain it. Nah, for real. This is kind of Taylor related, but like, have you seen any footage or anything at all about Coachella?
Yes. 2 bands specifically. Deftones, as always. But No Doubt. I was pretty stoked that No Doubt is back after a long time. Slay. And randomly, well, it's probably not random because I would have seen that and then wanted to listen to it. But on my drive home the other day, I absolutely cranked so much of it. They got so many bangers. Yeah. And they still sounded very, very good live. Yeah. When you posted that, like, you said something like, well, you can't listen to this song and not feel good, like hella good. Like, so true. It's just such a vibe. Yeah, like, it is. Yeah. So no, that was really cool. I think that's always nice about these massive festivals is you always have, I don't know, an artist that hasn't done anything for a while and that like it brings these massive bands or whatever back. Yeah. And who knows, they might tour again now and do other things. Wouldn't that be so cool? No Doubt are just like really cool. Yeah. But that's about it really. Like I had a quick look, like that took me back to, all right, who's playing? And then I don't know, as the print was getting smaller and smaller and smaller, I'm like, I have no idea who half of these people are. I did feel a bit like that. Like, I think a lot of these
dancey, techno-y kind of artists are more the vibe now, and I don't really know many of them. I'm more like, the content I see is more like just
like who's going?
Huh?
The who of who's going?
Yeah, like all the get ready with me's and the outfits and the lore. Like one of my favorite YouTubers, well, there's like two of them, but one is like my actual favorite. Lana Del Rey like called them out at this award show thing, like, oh my God, I watched you all through COVID. Like you got me through COVID. And then they were freaking out that they're just like normal people that are YouTubers. And then Lana Del Rey watches them.
Yeah, that's so
and
good.
then, so she made this really cool outfit of her merch. And then there was like these really adorable clips where they were in the front row and she like fully went up to them at like the start or end of her set, like, and like how cool.
Yeah.
You know, I get they are like famous in the terms of like YouTube stuff, but they're not like Lana Del Rey famous. So it's just so wholesome and cute and
makes it so much more real. Like, anyone can do that in theory, right?
Yeah. And and it makes you think like Lana Del Rey, like she's a human too, like she just wants to watch YouTube as well.
Yeah.
You just
like
forget.
we all do the same shit.
Yeah.
No, that's super cool.
Also, like, I never really used to like her. And then, I don't know, over the years, I've seen more of her and liked her a bit more. But then I thought her Coachella stuff was pretty cool. Like, she came out on a motorbike and, like, she just had this, like, beautiful, glamorous outfit on and was just on the back of a motorbike. And then her like, stage was really cool. And she brought Billie Eilish up. And I don't know, I just thought I liked what she did there. And then Sabrina Carpenter as well. Do you know her? I don't really know her music, but she opened for Taylor Swift. So, like... Yep. I've saw her there, but she's just so like little and cute. And have you seen Saltburn, the movie?
Saltburn.
It was really big last year. I haven't seen it, but it's
what's it about?
I don't really know. It's like a weird like fucked up kind of thing about rich people, and then
that's not the one where the dude was fucking the ground, right?
Yeah.
It is that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So I think he's the same one that he drinks the bath water.
Yeah.
She's dating him. And like, so she has this thing in every set she ever does. Like she'll change the last lyric of the last song to be in about the city she's in. So when it was in Melbourne for Taylor Swift, it was like, maybe I could find a boy from Melbourne, blah, blah, blah. And then for this one, like she did something about like, he drank my bathwater like it was red wine and he was in the crowd and like, and it was just kind of iconic. And, it was like, oh, that's right. It was because it has to rhyme. It was, he drank my bathwater like it was red wine. I'll see you next time Coachella when I headline. It was just like, just cool. I don't know. I just like kind of like her vibe because of that kind of shit. And
I think the weekend of Coachella would be so cool, just being, I guess, like what's out in the desert, right, in California. And
it's just such like a cultural thing that if you could play Coachella, surely your life is like made from then on.
Yeah.
Apparently they have really strict, I saw this on TikTok, they have really strict rules with, like, you know, it's all about the influencers, but apparently no influencer that has a brand deal with a brand that's there is allowed to say Coachella. It's like trademarked, and Coachella are very like strict that they will not let an influencer like represent them.
Wow.
Because they don't want it to be about that. But then the loophole is all these brands buy all these tickets and suites and houses and invite the influencers, and then the influencers have to post because they're on behalf of the brand.
Yeah.
So they have to say like festival fashion. They can't say Coachella fashion and stuff. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that is. I wonder why they do that.
Well, I think they don't want to be associated with the influence. Like they appreciate that it's a thing, but they still want it to be about the music.
Yeah. That
was what I saw anyway from a TikTok where apparently she used to work for Coachella. So I don't know. Maybe it had some merit to it.
Wow.
But anyway, did you see Taylor and Travis at Coachella?
No.
I legitimately thought it was AI when I first saw it. I was like, surely they're not just in the crowd. They were like right at the very front from some DJ set.
Wow.
Just like bopping away.
Just in the normal crowd.
Yes.
Wow.
She when you look at more footage, she did have bodyguards with her, but like
you still
still couldn't believe she was there.
Mm.
And she was like, the DJ put one of her songs in his set and she was just like vibing.
That's cool. Oh, speaking of, it's nothing to do at the moment. What, like 2 weeks' time since we did this last time, how many times in 14 days have you used the mask?
About 10.
Fuck.
Because you're only supposed to use it about 3 to 5 times a week.
That's sick. All right. And how does it feel? Let's give it a review.
I'm in desperate need of a glow up. I don't think it has helped me. I still think I look gross. I don't know. You tell me. Got to give it a bit more time.
Okay.
Maybe if the glow up... You hate this.
Oh, I can't wait.
Maybe if the glow up works, I'll have some more self-love. For a bit, make myself less ugly. It will work.
Oh, fuck.
Nah, for real. I have been using it. It's been good.
10 out of 14. That's good. So for those playing at home, we always record this in the evenings, right?
Yeah. Can you believe I'm awake?
No.
I did so well.
Well, you know that I didn't because I text you when I was making breakfast being like, hey, hope the 7 million alarms have worked. I'm coming over at this time just so I can get the red thing. I just want to see, I know you won't respond, but at least if I get a...
No, you need to get a response because I could still read it half asleep and then just like put my phone to the side. I've done that before.
Yeah.
Imagine I was like having visions of you rocking up and I'm still asleep. Oh, that would be so
Turns into
bad.
that neighbor story. You're just like fucking drowning in here and like not going to answer. I'm like, you just parked next to my car, Lucy. I need you to move. If you haven't heard that story, go back to one of the first episodes because that's very, very funny.
But yeah, no, it's so weird. Like I legitimately, I mean, the episode's pretty much over now, but I was going to apologize if I'm not that funny because I'm not a morning person.
I was excited to see how we go. Like, you know, being here in the morning, taking our beers to be coffees.
Coffee instead of beer.
The sun's out. Kind of giving myself like a bit of a time schedule because we've got some cute shit to do this afternoon as well.
Yeah, true. It's Anzac Day. We're going to go watch the footy, the Collingwood and Essendon game. Actually, funny story. You'll appreciate this. We had a work event recently and one of our mates, Akil, he said he was like at the breakfast buffet and he said to everyone like, oh, you know, sometimes the food's not that good at these events, so you got to really stock up at breakfast if it's a good breakfast. And it was a good breakfast apparently. And he like sacked his plate up so huge and it was like kind of like making a big deal about how much breakfast he had. And he said he turned around to go walk to the table and then Christian, one of our other workmates, was just outside just running past. And he just kind of looked at his huge plate of food and then looked at Christian and was just like,
oh, I don't need this fucking bacon.
It just makes so much sense because Christian's just like you, like fucking so perfect all the time. Like, yeah, of course. Yeah, you're just getting up and barely making it to breakfast and they've run a marathon. Like, of course.
I can picture like Christian run out and love it if like you could just see like this nice see-through window and just like a wink at Akil. Like,
yeah.
Good try, son.
Just so suave. Like, yeah, cute breakfast.
Fuck.
Love that for you.
He's about to line up and have lunch. I love that though. That's such a cool moment. I can picture Akil's face too, like just be like so up and about and then like, oh fucking sakes.
And it was funny as well because the reason he said that about stocking up on the food is because the food during the day was actually so good. So we're all eating his food during the day as well. So he's like,
Akil, you want some of this? I was like, no, I'm fucking full.
And I like, you know, typical me, I didn't wake up in time. Like I said, because I always freak out. I've only got one alarm. I've got my phone. That's it. So I usually have my Apple Watch as well. So it's 2, but it doesn't really work. So I always get the hotel wake up calls because I think if it's a person waking me up, it will work. But I don't know if I was just in like such a deep slumber that I slept through my wake up calls or they never called. But I woke up like definitely way too late to go to breakfast. So that was really annoying.
That kind of reminds me of one of my favourite Lucy stories ever. Can you maybe tell the listeners the time that you were away on a trip and you slept through your alarms and missed your flight home?
I would never do that. Can we just clarify this was not a work event because that would be really naughty. But yeah, definitely did have an event in Melbourne and my flight was at like 8 in the morning or something like that. And I got back to the hotel about 3 in the morning. Absolutely fucking snitzled. Like I don't even know how I made it back to my room. Like it was so bad. And I specifically had a conversation with someone about meeting them in the foyer to go to the airport together. I don't know why they didn't check up on me or anything. They just went to the airport without me.
Well, knowing you, they probably tried. You would have had 700 missed calls.
I did not try.
Oh, really? Okay.
Maybe they were schnitzeled, so maybe they just forgot, like, to be fair. But yeah, I set my alarms, but I plugged my phone in and I didn't plug my phone into the wall. So it wasn't actually being charged. So I got woken up by the hotel being like, hey, it's time to check out. Is everything okay? They were like knocking on my door. Oh no, that's right. Because they called, but all I did was like wake up and be like, fuck, I've missed my flight. So I think and I also knew I had to check out soon. So I think I just quickly jumped in the shower because
You thought that was your normal wake up calls you asked for? Oh, thanks, guys. My alarm. Perfect. I'll take my time.
oh man, but because I fully remember as well waking up with like red lipstick smeared all over my face or my eye makeup everywhere. So I was like, fuck, I can't leave like this. I have to shower. And then as I was in the shower, they were like knocking on my door because I hadn't answered the phone, like just to make sure I was okay. And then they had to kick me out, and I was like, I don't fucking know what to do now. So I think I had to pay like $600 for a flight that same day. It was so bad.
Such a Lucy story.
I know.
That's a good one, though. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, that was like definitely a low point in my life as well, because I thought I'm finally getting on top of my finances. I'm finally being a big dog and saving money, and then goodbye. Time management sucked all my money away again.
I feel it was a good flight, though, for that cost. Like to get business or...
Well, and I think all that was available was like the last flight of the day as well. So I had to sit at the airport for ages, just thinking about everything I've done, just like reflecting on why I'm such a piece of shit.
Oh, man.
Speaking of reflecting on why I'm such a piece of shit, there's a funny story from my most recent trip, work event. We went to Luna Park for the evening event.
So good.
So fun. Have you had much experience with roller coasters?
I was making this joke when I was sending you guys photos, and I'm like, fuck, I'm glad that my role doesn't get invited to these, because I'll just be at the bar drinking while you guys are doing that. Because I don't know, when we were in Disneyland, we rode like quite a few, but I don't know, I'm just not huge for it. I'm a bit of a sook with that kind of stuff.
I think they're fun. The only thing was I was kind of not very well. I'd had a cold, so I went on roller coaster as soon as we got there, and I was like, oh, I'm just not like feeling it. I just felt a bit like just not 100%. So I didn't really want to go on heaps after, but like I do like roller coasters, so I also didn't want to miss the opportunity. So anyway, went on one roller coaster ride. It was fun. It was over in like 2 seconds. It's like it takes off, and then before you know it, it's over. And so then someone that we were with kept saying he wanted to go on the roller coaster, but he just like wasn't. So I don't know if he was actually too scared or if he just was waiting for the right time. And then it was like the park was about to close. So I was like, have you gone on any rides? And he said no. So I'm like, quickly, let's go. I'll go with you. So we ran to the roller coaster, and they said, oh, Lucy, you want to go on the front? Because I was the least scared apparently. So I was like, yeah, okay. So I get in the front seat, and they go to push the thing in. And it's not like locking, like there's a guy behind the thing being like, nah, they're pushing again. And by the way, like me and another girl had this convo that it was like kind of hurts your thighs because they're like pushing it down over your thighs. And then there was like two of them pushing at once to try and get it to lock, and it wasn't locking. So then it was like awkward because everyone else was locked in fine. And I just tried to just make a joke to be less embarrassed. I was like, oh, my thigh's too big for the roller coaster. And luckily, like, the girl that was trying to push in, she was like, but didn't you ride before? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. And they were like,
see, I'd have bought that. I'm not fucking going on this ride ever.
Yeah, I know. And they were like, shuffle back, sit up straight, and like fully try. Like they couldn't get me locked in. And I was like, this is so embarrassing. I'm like too fat for the roller coaster. Like, cool. But then they pushed and they got it. And then the guy behind the desk goes, oh no. And then we were like, oh no, what? And he's like, and then she went and looked, and she's like, so you're kind of a bit stuck in here.
Just you, or all of them?
Yeah, all of them, all of us. And like it hadn't taken off or anything, and they didn't want to take off when it was like malfunctioning or whatever. And then she was like, it shouldn't be too long. We just got to call a technician. And then like I hear him calling the technician, and he's like, yeah, it just says like emergency stop activated, and I can't get anyone out or something like that. So we had to sit there. They made it sound way more dramatic than it was. Like the technician arrived pretty quickly, but like I think we were all stuck in it for like 5 minutes. And then
so good if they were fucking with you, and then the ride starts when they say that, and that's part of like the skit.
That would be funny. It'd be over before you had time to register what had happened.
Yeah, like you motherfuckers. What? Sorry.
But yeah, so then they got the technician and they unlocked it, and it was like the park was about to close, so they were like, yeah, maybe we just won't do one last ride just in case.
Yep.
And then we were like, oh, okay, cool.
I definitely wouldn't have got back on.
Yeah, but then it was like, oh, perfect, my thighs broke the roller coaster. But yeah, I probably would have been too scared to go anyway, but it just was like, it was so embarrassing. Like, why did that have to happen?
Did I tell you? We already spoke about when we got stuck on the Harry Potter ride in America.
No. What do you
Probably why I don't like them. So, Harry Potter World or whatever had just opened in Anaheim when we went there at Disney or Universal, whichever one it was. And like I have never watched Harry Potter, so I'm like, oh, whatever. I don't really like rides, but Lauren was so excited about it. And anyway, yeah, we're going around, and it was one of the ones where like it's like you're sitting in it, like sort of like hanging from the thing, and it cruises around. And it like just went around the thing, and then like all of it just stopped, and we're like, fuck, I don't know, like at least from the roof to that, like high, just dangling there, and I'm like, oh, perfect. And then like you just don't know with them because then it's like, what happens if it like just like kicks back into gear or like what happens with that kind of shit. But anyway, we were stuck on there. It felt like ages. I think it was probably the same 5 minutes or so. But
and then did they give you a warning before they started it again, or did they tell you what was going on?
They didn't tell us exactly what the thing was, but yeah, they just gave us a warning, and then it like just continued, and we finished. And then I'm like, okay, cool, I'm done with rides now. Let's go do some other shit. But yeah, that's pretty fun.
That's scary. So were you just high up with your feet dangling?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's end it there. I guess the thing I want you to put in the comments this week is whether we're funnier in the morning or the night. Like, is this a good idea? Do we need to try and fit this into our schedules? Like, are we better on coffee or beer? I don't know. I feel like I'm still waking up, so you have to tell us.
I love that already. I've got multiple things I want to call this episode, but coffee or beer is a good one.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, let us know. It'll be intriguing to see. Even for us, like I'm excited to edit it and see like how we are.
Yeah.
Now we're up and about. Anyway,
Hopefully.
have a nice week.
Bye.